getting told again, and somehow they still feel new. It's the peace that came from letting go, the smile that shows up out of nowhere. When I slow my pace and take it in, I realize I got more than I thought I had. I don't rush past the blessing anymore. Don't treat the good like it's small. Life taught me joy. Hey, Mama. Hey, honey. These are the grand things, the kind that make your chest feel full. The grand things, the love that stayed, the moments that pulled me through. It ain't about having everything figured out. It's noticing what's already here right now. Hey, Nick. Yeah, these are the grand things. The grand things for the grandstanders. It's the wisdom earned from living, not rushing who I'm meant to be. It's learning how to celebrate the version of me standing here. It's family checking in just because, and joy is showing up unplanned. Funny how the biggest parts of life were right here in my hands. I used to think grand meant far away, somewhere I hadn't gone. Turns out grand was walking with me all along. These are the grand things, the smiles that don't need a reason why. The grand things, the quiet wins that don't make headlines. It ain't about the past or racing ahead. It's gratitude living where my feet are planted. Yeah, these are the grand things, and I choose to stand in them. Sometimes it's still, sometimes it's a deep breath. Or laughing until you can't sit still. If you pause long enough, you'll see what I mean. There's a whole lot of great in the life you're already living. I hope that you all heard that. It said there is some grand things in the life that you are already living. Hey, hey, everybody. This is Mother Theresa with Grandstanding. And with Mother Theresa, welcome, welcome, and welcome again. For our new people that are joining us for the very first time, thank you for listening, for tuning in. For the other people that you've been coming and you've been sticking around for a while and listen to see what's going on, thank you so very much for coming back. So on tonight, as we are talking and showcasing some grand music for my grandstanders, you all, this is some new music that will be released pretty soon, and it's called Grand Things. What better music to play on this segment where I'm talking about grandstanding? For those of you all who do not know the story, God had given me several years ago to do a live stream broadcast on Facebook entitled Grandstanding with Mother Theresa. Now, I will have to tell you that I did not know what and how we were going to make this happen, because it was something that I had never done before. But let me just also tell you that when God gives you something to do, you all do it, okay? I have enjoyed myself so very much on Tuesday nights, being able to just kind of stick around and hang around and just kind of talk with you all, giving you some practical applications or steps for living, giving you some faith-based encouragement, just giving you some, I call them nuggets of wisdom, okay, or pearls of wisdom. And I enjoy it. You know, it's not therapy. It is not life coaching. It's just simple conversations from one faith-filled believer to other faith-filled believers. And I thank you all so very much for coming along with me on this journey. If you're tuned in and if you haven't said hey, you might want to go ahead and say, hey, hey, Mother Theresa, let me know that you're here and that you're watching. Thank you all again so very much for watching and joining in. Now, listen, if you haven't picked up your favorite snack and your favorite beverage, go ahead and get that so you can get comfortable for the next maybe 30 to 45 minutes while we just kind of take this journey together. And if you haven't shared it, go ahead and share the live and tell somebody, hey, Mother Theresa is back at it again. And so let's get started. So first of all, I shared with you all on last week. I hoped that everyone has had a great end of the year, celebrating Christmas, celebrating New Year's, all of that good stuff. So we've covered all of that stuff. I really, really hope that you enjoyed your break. Or, for some of you all, you've got an extended break. Some of you all didn't have a break at all. But I hope you enjoyed spending at least a day with your family, your friends, your loved ones, and just remembering that, you know what? It's not about us. It is definitely not about us, but it's about, celebrating the birth of Jesus, but then also sharing the love and the fellowship with your loved ones. And I shared with you all on last week about, being able to go home and just enjoy my family. You all, I had such a good time, such a good time. And it's what it's all about. I can say that my mom, who's listening, she raised us right. She put she was a great example and a role model of teaching us about loving each other, loving one another, loving our family, and cherishing our family, so much so that when we get together, it is just always a really, really good time. So thank you, Mom, for all the many lessons that you have taught me and my siblings, and even with my husband. He's not her mom, but the example and the lessons that we've learned together. So thank you, Mom. Thank you so much. So let's talk about 2026. So I wanted to just kind of jump in and talk about, so many people talk about, 2025 was, a rough year. It was a horrible year. It was a year that they were rushing to get through and everything, and how they're expecting to have a great year. Congratulations, Tamika. I will talk to you later. Congratulations. But so many were just saying that it was a rough year. And let me just tell you all, people, that life is rough. Okay. There is no place that I have ever read or heard where it says that life was going to be easy. Nowhere. What I do know is what the Bible tells me is that when we have a burden, when we have things that are too heavy for us to bear, to carry, then we can lay it down for the Father to help us to bear all of these things. And we can ask and trust that God will help us. But here's what I will say is that we've got to do our part. So as we are welcoming 20, hello there, my Candace, as we are welcoming 20, or we have welcomed 2026, I want you all to start back and start thinking about what is the good that I'm seeking from this new year. Okay. I believe that every day when we get up, when we rise up out of that bed and we're able to breathe and put our feet on the floor and then be able to walk and to be able to do all of the necessary things that we need to do for ourselves, then we are blessed. We are blessed because God has given us another opportunity to, I say, get things right, to make better choices, to just live the life that He has called us to live. And even if we make a mistake, you all, don't beat yourself up and say, you know what, I've blown it. I'm just going to be miserable for the rest of the day. And then you kind of take that attitude and you just kind of make that day, uh, was it Alexander, the no good, horrible, very bad day? I'm quite sure I got that all wrong, but it's a little kid story. But it talks about a little boy who was having a very, very bad day. And this is the way I believe. I believe that you determine what type of day that you're going to have. So if you wake up and if you're saying, you know what, it's going to be a horrible, horrible day, then guess what? That self-fulfilling prophecy that you just put out into the atmosphere, then that's more than likely what's going to come back at you. So I'm really careful about, trying to be very careful about the words that I let come out of my mouth, because I believe that we are able to put things out into the atmosphere. And once they're out there in the atmosphere, the devil hears everything, or he can just take it and he can just try to mess with us and do whatever, it's whatever he wants to do. So don't be careless with your words. Be very careful with your words. Be very careful and intentional about the words that you allow to come out of your mouth. Start speaking positive, wholesome, good things over your life. Bless your life. Command your morning. This is not the first time you've heard that. Command your morning. Draw forth to you great things that God has in store for you. Because let me just tell you, there's enough bad things that's going to happen. They're just waiting to happen. But why don't you call forth those good things, those wholesome things? Because I do believe that something good is still possible for us, even though we may not necessarily believe it. I want to say that I believe that life is not perfect. Words of affirmation. Absolutely. Start speaking those words of affirmation, not only over you and your situation, but over your household, over your family, over your circumstances. Sometimes we can call forth blessings because that's what the Bible tells us to do. We've got to speak those things that are not as though they were. Now, I may have messed that up. But anyway, to me, that's just calling forth the blessings of God. And guess what? Who better to call forth the blessings of God over your own life than you? So some good things are still possible. And I believe because we're still standing and we're still here, then that means that we can make things a little bit better, not only for ourselves, but for the people that we surround ourselves, with. There is definitely some danger in letting disappointments and things that have happened in your life convince you that your best days are behind you. My Bible tells me that our latter days, that means that the days in our latter time of our lives will be better than the days that are gone on ahead of us. But guess what? You've got to have that mindset. You've got to have that mindset that just because some things have disappointed you, just because you've lost some things, you've lost some relationships, you've lost some jobs, you've lost some money, you've lost whatever you've lost, that doesn't define who you are. And it should not define what type of day or days that you will have. Okay, some things, we just chalk it up to, I've lost it, can't find it. It may be a large sum of money that you have misplaced, or you made some bad investments and that money is no longer available. It's gone, y'all. It's gone. So because it's gone, sometimes we do not understand what things are tied to the things that we have lost. Some things that we lose, it is by design. God did not just say, okay, I'm just going to take it from you and whatever. God took it from you for a reason. I believe that everything, whether it's good or bad, you all, that happens in our lives, God is the creator of the universe. He created us. So don't you think that he knows what's best for us? He knows the things that we are going to get entangled in. He knows the things that are going to trap us, that are going to cause us to stumble, cause us to fall. He already knows those things. Hello there, Kim. It's so good to see you on here. I miss you too. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're absolutely right. Our best days are to come. And so when we know that our best days are to come, we live as such, okay? We make sure that we are putting first of all, our best foot forward. We are actively looking for the blessings of God. We are actively looking for the positive things in our life. We're chasing after those things because guess what? Surely goodness and mercy, they're right behind me. They're right behind me. And let me just tell you that if we do what we know we're supposed to be doing, y'all, life could be so much easier. It really, really could be. Hello there, my sister, Sister Sherry. It could be so much easier for you all if you all would just listen and allow God to lead, okay? So many times we think about, like I said earlier, about our previous disappointments. We allow that to kind of lead us and guide us and steer us in directions that we really, really don't need to be led down. But what we need to understand that, guess what? Things happen. Bad things happen to good people all the time. But that doesn't have to define who you are. Thank you. Somebody just sent some stars. Thank you, Kim. That does not have to define who you are. Because guess what? Just like God gives us a chance over and over and over to kind of get it right, we've got to be more in tune with ourselves and be forgiving of ourselves. Because sometimes we can say, you know what? I already recognize what I've been down that road before. I already know what it's all about. But then guess what happens? You go right back on down that same road another time. And some of us may have to go down that same road about 3 or 4 times until we finally realize and say, hey, I really, really, really recognize this now for what it really is. And I've learned my lesson. I will not have to go back down that road again. And then you prove yourself. You pass the test. This is what I used to tell my girls all the time, more so my girls than my son, about passing certain tests in life. Because guess what? They're going to come. The tests are definitely going to come. They're going to show up. But what we have to do is we have to recognize that, hey, I've studied for this test. I've crammed for this test. You know, I may have failed this test once or twice, but guess what? Now I am ready. I am prepared. I am prepared. And because you are prepared, you are now able to face the test and then pass it. Hello there, my Teddy T. I'm so glad you joined us on tonight. But let me just tell you, one of the things that I was sharing with you all is that I believe that something good can still happen. But when you start believing that something good can still happen for you, again, like I said, you start behaving and moving in that. And let me just tell you another thing about calling forth things. The same way that we can call forth things, thank you, Kim. The same way that we can call forth things, we can also rebuke some things out of our lives. We can cast some things out of our lives. You all, sometimes, you know, when we find ourselves in some situations where we already know it's not going to turn out well. We already know because God has given us the discernment. So we know that this really isn't for me. But sometimes we have to start walking down that path and at least, you know, and I'm just saying this, y'all, because I've been there. We have to kind of start walking down that path, and then we have to start back up and say, you know what? This is not for me. This is not the life that I When I became a believer, or because I know that there are good things in my path, this is not for me. So if I know that this is not for me, I'm going to cast this out. I'm going to rebuke it. I'm going to ask God to deliver me from this, get me away from this, or get the people away from me that mean me no good. But y'all, sometimes we find ourselves in those type of situations. And when we find ourselves in those type of situations, y'all just start praying. Just start praying and just bombarding heaven and just say, God, I need you to help me get me out of here. Because, the word of God does tells us is that there is a way of escape if you're seeking a way of escape. Now, see, sometimes we can fool ourselves because we're not fooling God, and sometimes we're not even fooling the people in our close friend group or family. Sometimes what will happen is that we will find ourselves into some situations and we've kind of gotten ourselves kind of stuck in whatever. And we think we're fooling people by saying, you know what, I didn't want to really be here. Sometimes, yes, you did. Yeah, you do. You wanted to be there. You put yourself in that situation. Now, okay, now that you've seen the error of your ways, now you're like, okay, I need out. Start bombarding heaven and asking God, get me out of this situation. But not only get me out of this situation, but don't allow me to be so easily tricked and find myself back in this situation. Because guess what? Good things are just waiting for you. So when the good things are waiting for you, again, like I said, start going towards those good things. And you know what? And I spoke some time ago and I said something about distractions, that sometimes the devil can present things to you and you think it looks good, it smells good, tastes good, everything about it looks good and appealing. But once you start examining that thing or being kind of entangled in that thing, you realize, that wasn't it. It was simply a distraction. Because guess what? The good thing that you have been praying for, that good thing, which may be, a new job or new house or, something like that, or just a healing in your body, the good things that we have been praying for, sometimes those distractions will get in our way and we're almost there, you all. Sometimes we can be in situations where it's like you can see, as people say, the light at the end of the tunnel. You can clearly see that it's just right there. If I could just reach out and touch it, it's right there. And sometimes it can be so close to you, so very close, but yet so far away. So we've got to be careful about those things. Because if we want those good things to happen to us, you all, we've got to change our mindsets. And we talked about mindsets. You know what? I've talked to you all about a lot of different things. But I'm going to say it again. We've got to change our mindsets. We've got to be willing to believe again. Because sometimes believing can scare us. Because we have been believing sometimes. For some of us, we've been believing for such a long time for a certain thing and it hasn't happened. And so we stop believing. We stop believing that it is possible. People say God is an on-time God. Yes, he is. He may not come when you want him, but he's always on time. And I know I am not the only witness for that. There are some of you all that's listening right now that when it seems like you were at the very moment of where you just wanted to let go, you heard something or you felt something that just said, you know what, tie a knot in this rope and hang on a little while longer. Okay? Don't let go right now. Just hang on. Because sometimes, as I stated, what happens is we get tired of waiting. Okay? We get tired of waiting. That's right. Don't give up on God. Please don't. We get tired of waiting and we kind of start looking and comparing ourselves with other people and saying, you know what? this person seems like they're doing so much better than I am. This person seems like they are, just always got things going on, and, and just seem like they're just living a better life than me. I've shared with you all, don't get it twisted. Stop looking at people's Facebook and social media and all of that, and where it seems like they've got everything going on. It's, everything is just good. Remember, they're only going to show you the good. They're going to take 500 pictures to get to that one picture to make you think that everything is okay. They're going to make sure that they have their face turned at a certain angle and whatever, so you can see the best side of their faces and the best side of them. And they're going to put those filters on, and they're going to do this, and they're going to do all of those things to make you believe, okay? And then what that does to us, some of us, is it makes us then doubt ourselves even more. But again, call those things out. And remember, everything that you see on Facebook, social media, TikTok, it's not all an accurate portrayal of those people's lives. Not even my life. Like I share with you all, I say, you see books and you see pictures and all of that stuff behind me. It's a lot of little stuff back there. It's some dust back there. It's some things that need to be taken care of. But if I turn the camera around, you see that my desk is covered with books on this side, on my right side, books all across the front of my desk, my computer monitor here. It's a lot of stuff in here, okay? I've got a bag of trash that I've been putting trash in while I was cleaning out. But guess what? You can't see that because I've angled my cameras to where you see what I want you to see. So you've got to remember, you all, that, even we do this, we do this in life. Sometimes we wear a mask because we don't want our true person, our true whoever we are to be seen. So we wear a mask, and then we get comfortable with the mask. We get very comfortable with the mask because guess what? You feel like you're hiding. But I want you to know that you may be hiding, but you're not getting away. Eventually, you have to pull off the mask, okay? Eventually, you do. And when you do, a lot of you all, a lot of us will feel so much better. Listen, you all, I know that it's a lot going on in our lives, in our world, but I wanted to just stop by and just quickly share with you all that there are some grand things that's happening in your life. There are some grand things that even if they don't seem like they're so grand, remember, grand is just a word, okay? What is grand for you may not be grand for the next person. But grand doesn't have to be expensive. Grand doesn't have to be huge. Grand doesn't have to be all of these things that normally we think about. When I was coming up with, or when God had given me about grandstanding, and I was like, grandstanding? That doesn't even make sense. But God began to share with me, just talk about the grand things that are in your life. Now, they may not be big to other people, but for me, they're grand. And not only talk about the things that's happening in my life, but the lives of people that are associated, with you, and the things that's happening in this world. Because there are some grand things that's happening. So don't be fooled by all of the negativity, the things that you're seeing in the news, the things that you're reading on social media, all of that. Don't be fooled by those things. Remember, we are peculiar people of God, and we already know what the promises of God are. We know how to call forth the blessings. We know how to get in that word and to learn the word and find what applies to you so you can be victorious, because there are some good things that are still possible. So I want you all to enjoy those good things, especially as we are starting a new year, because I don't want you to take that old baggage from 2025 into the new year. I don't want you to take that old mindset that you had in 2025. Don't take all of those old things. Now, I'm not saying that you can't take the good things. I'm not saying, to leave all of that in 2025. No, absolutely not. But those things that have weighed you down, that have caused you to think that, hey, my life is a shamble or whatever. Guess what? Even if it is a shamble, you have the power to fix it. All you have to do is start making some changes in the areas that you would like, and believe it. Don't allow the things to continue to scare you, that scared you in 2025. Don't bring it over to 2026. Okay. Find the scripture that talks about strength and courage and all of those things, and comfort. Find those scriptures and then study those, so then you can be better prepared to experience the good things that God has in store for you. So as we are closing on tonight, again, thank you all so very much for this quick 30 minutes. I appreciate everyone who has been on tonight, for your comments, for your, words of encouragement, for your going back and forth with me. Thank you all so, so very much. And as you are continuing your week until we see each other again on next week, I want you to remember that something good is always possible, not only for you, but for me as well. And when you start thinking about the good things that God has in store for you, I always want to remember, hold on, I'm trying to find something for you real quick. Let's see if I have it. I don't know if I have it. I don't know if I have it. But I wanted to tell you all that as we're leaving on tonight, I just wanted to remind you that, when you cannot call forth good things to come forward, maybe consider finding you a prayer partner, finding you another believer, another strong individual that can sit alongside you, come alongside you, and not only come alongside you, but to believe with you. Because one of the things I do know is that sometimes when we are the only one, it seems like we're the only one that is believing for a thing to happen, we can also get a little bit despondent. And when we get a little bit despondent, then what happens is you soon give up. You soon give up. So I wanted to share something with you all, just as we're closing out. My husband posted in there, Get Soul Notes. For those of you all that are watching that are not familiar with what Get Soul Notes is, Get Soul Notes is just a daily encouragement, a text-based encouragement that I founded a couple of really, actually, almost a year or so ago. But as God gives us certain things, we have to kind of work it. We have to kind of make sure that it's all together before we release it to the public. But Get Soul Notes is one of the things that I will definitely be sharing with you all for the next several topics that we have, simply because that is something that I want you all to be a part of. And when I say I want you to be a part of it, I want you to become a subscriber. A subscriber for Soul Notes, it is for an individual plan. It's $7.99 per month. And it gives you 30, 31 days, however long the month is. You're going to get a daily word of encouragement that's usually going to come to your phone about 9:02 every morning. That's the way I have it set up. So, and it's enough to kind of help you get through the course of the day. And it's a simple text message, but it's powerful. And let me just tell you, most of the days, and I did mostly all of these soul notes, but it comes at a time where I'm like, that is for me. And I forget that, you know what? Yes, that is for you. It was designed especially for you. But then across the way, somebody else who received a soul note that's even in another city, another state, and they're receiving their soul note and they're saying, this is for me. So if you want to experience soul notes, the address is on there. My husband put that on there. And so you can just go to www.getsoulnotes.com and let me know what you think, okay? So listen, everybody. I want you all to have a great night.
Hey, family. It's gonna be a good day.
A great day.
Come on, let's get into it. It's so lost. Yeah. Woke up this morning feeling blessed and alive. Got a little sunshine, joy on the rise. I check my phone and smile real wide. My soul note dropped in right on time. A little word of hope, a heartbeat of grace. Feels like God is sending love right to my space. Get so notes, lift your spirit, feel that joy overflow. Let a message bring a smile to your soul. Every day a little love you can hold. Get so notes, it's gonna be a good day. Get so notes, let the hope in your heart take control.
All right, I'm loving those stars.
Running through the day with peace in my mind. Even when it's rough, I still find signs. A little encouragement goes a long way. Oh, soul knows got me stepping into a brighter day. Feels like grace is showing up just when I need it. Soul knows, lift your spirit, feel that joy overflow. Let a message bring a smile to your soul. Every day a little love you can hold. Get soul knows, it's gonna be a good day. Get soul knows, let the hope in your heart take control. Yeah, clap your hands, yeah, we're walking in light. Yeah, step into your peace. Everything's gonna be alright. One little message can brighten your way. Soul knows, so I've been hoping to your day. Get so lost, trust is real. Feel that joy overflow. A message bring a smile to your soul. Every day a little love you can hold. Get so lost, it's gonna be a good day. Get so lost, let the hope in your heart take control. Daily hope, deliver every hurt. Get so daily hope, let's make it a good day. Daily hope, get so lost. Daily hope, get so lost. Get so lost. Let's make it a good day.
And that's what I'm all about. Let's make it a great day. Let's make it a good day. If you have not become a subscriber, please become a subscriber. And I also have something for my subscribers. So listen, if you're a subscriber and you haven't received your Get Soul Notes coffee mug, okay, these are for my subscribers, okay? Send me, inbox me with your information so we can get it to you. All right, everybody, as my sister Cynthia often says, good night, grandstanders. Y'all have a great week, and I will see you all the next time. And as you can tell, I love this lively, upbeat version of Get Soul Notes. So look for it, okay? All right, bye-bye, everybody.